So I mean, even those charts, everything, including the demand, is showing that it is getting younger. So, we reach out to men to, understand this. This isn't about guilt. It's not about shame. It's about saying, holy cow, I didn't know this. I'm going to change. If you're visiting strip clubs, you need to understand that there's a reason that those are not a healthy environment. So stop supporting that, because there are girls being trafficked through strip clubs.
So John is essentially a buyer of sex trafficking victims. Now, our average John would be a middle-aged white male, college-educated, married with children. There's obviously the gamut of Johns. We've seen Johns as young as 18, 19, almost basically engaged to get married, or just starting their lives in college, all the way up to the 65-year-old that has never been married, doesn't have any kids. So really it can run the gamut. However, our middle of the road median would be a college-educated white male right around the age of 35 to 45 years of age.
One of the things that the founder of Polaris talked about was a study that's going to come out later on this summer, maybe early fall, in looking at the sex buying habits of men. And the number he used, and it's not the final number, but it's in the ballpark, that 35% of men, there's nothing that would get in their way of going to purchase sex. And this is actually paying for sexual favors from a human being. This is not even a man purchasing porn online. In the 65%, I don't remember the exact numbers, but some of the men, they entertain the idea, but they're fearful of getting caught. So there's a significant percentage of men, and I'm going to say it's probably a conservative number, that they toy with this idea a lot.
The way that we're doing it now is the Johns aren't getting a ticket. They're actually getting taken to jail for a short period of time. Their cell phone is being confiscated, and then they actually have to appear in front of a judge. So, if you're married with kids and you get caught up in one of our operations and your face is on the, Facebook or whatever, you don't really want that to happen again. So we're not seeing a whole lot of repeaters since the beginning of the year, since we've started this, because I think they're probably starting to pick up on that, okay, well, once was on the news was enough for me. I don't want to get my family embarrassed again. So
demand is getting bigger for younger aged girls, victims, boys. So that demand is being filled. So the strip clubs, it's all part of the product. The movies, the girls are getting younger. The strip clubs, their demand is for younger dancers. Viewing it online, any of that.
It's kind of like that saying, like, once you know about it, you can't ignore it kind of thing. And so I think awareness is just so important. And if we could just get everyone just to have that little piece in their ear, like, this is happening, and even for them to say it to their friend just raise that awareness, because as awareness is being raised, demand is going to be, that supply and demand chain is going to be broken, which I think is so important, because if there was no demand, there'd be no supply.
It's serious here. Because of that, we wanted to do something. We wanted to focus more direct attention on it. So we created a Human Trafficking Bureau at the Department of Justice Division of Criminal Investigation, with a special agent in charge of that division and 6 agents who focus on doing this work. Now, we're not going to do all the work. What happens is we're working to coordinate better strategies statewide with other local law enforcement agencies. We're doing training. We're providing resources when we can.
I do wholeheartedly support the Attorney General's efforts to raise attention and to educate law enforcement. What I hope is that educational effort by those 7 agents that are hired is culturally informed, is trauma informed, and involves all of the others of us doing the work on the ground in the community who see all the downstream consequences that could inform law enforcement's response on the front end.
Recently we've been trained to team up with the Cook County Sheriff's Office on the National John Suppression Initiative. Basically, years ago it was seen as, sex trafficking, or not sex trafficking, but prostitution was seen as taboo, and it was the girls that were the issue. So it was ticket the girls, take them to jail, but we saw all that really did was it forced them back out onto the track or the streets or the hotels, because if you gave them a $1,000 ticket, what are they going to have to do? They're going to have to go get more dates to pay for that ticket and or sit in jail for that. So over time we've realized that doesn't really work. So now we've moved on to what we call demand suppression, and that's where the NJSI, which is the National John Suppression Initiative, comes into play. And we're actually targeting the Johns in the sense of if we don't have the buyers of sex trafficking, then we don't necessarily have the problem of sex trafficking.
It's not a matter of just arresting our way out, although there are people we need to arrest. There's also going to have to be the service to the survivors aspect. There's going to have to be the public awareness and prevention campaign. All of those things, law enforcement, treatment, prevention and awareness, all those pieces have to be working together if we're going to solve this. It has to become something that citizens in Wisconsin understand is a scourge, that it's modern day slavery, that this isn't harmless. It's not someone who's doing something out of their own free will to make money.
Kids are being sold for sex, really. Kids are being exploited all throughout this country, and we want to do our part to end child sexual exploitation here in the greater Milwaukee area.